Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a whole new episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. I am super excited to be here with you today. And today we have with us Dr. Lia James Stone. Isn't that a name? Welcome, Dr. Lia. How are you?
I am well. How are you? Thank you for having me today, Kim.
Thank you so much for being here. We were together recently at a very, I think it was a profound, enlightening, educational, life-changing experience with the Power Networking Conference with Dr. George C. Frazier. How did you feel about that conference?
It was a lot of great information. A lot of great information. When I tell you to be amongst so many powerful, anointed, just educated, the information that they poured out was awesome. Something I needed. I definitely needed it. I really enjoyed myself.
It was so much information that I was like, okay, now I need to just take a day or two and just process everything, digest it, and determine what I really can implement that would change pretty much the trajectory of my life, I think,
Right. I know one time we were sitting there eating, I'm thinking, I wish I would have brought my notepad and pen because they were still just throwing some nuggets out. And I'm like, wait a minute. So at that point, my phone just became my notepad. I just started putting notes in because it was just so much. I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect, but I'm so excited that I went.
Well, I'm so excited that you came, and I'm glad that we had the opportunity to connect and to have you here today on this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. For everyone that's grabbing your virtual seats, let us know where you're visiting in from, who you are, and specifically if you have questions pertaining to things that just go on in life that make you feel like sometimes like you're just off kilter, like something's wrong, but really nothing's wrong. It's just that you need some potential direction and assistance and help and guidance. So where everyone makes us feel like, oh, we're on an island by ourselves. I can't believe this is happening in my life. This is so overwhelming. This is too much for me to bear. We're talking today with a woman that has written the book, got a t-shirt for it, and she's going to tell us how we can get better as women and as men that's dealing with some life-altering situations. So Dr. Lia, I'm gonna call you Dr. Lia, even though I love the whole name. I want to make sure I introduce people to you, introduce you to everyone that's here. Lia James Stone is an experienced entrepreneur, life and wellness coach, author, speaker, and minister, driven by her compassion for others and their well-being. She takes pride in providing the best services possible to help women grow. Her passion for women can be tracked back to her younger years, and we're going to talk about that and give her a chance to take us on her backstory and her journey. She's always one to give back. We're going to talk about some of the ways that she's done that as well. She's the author of 7 Keys. It's okay to not be okay. 7 Keys to Happy Through the Storms of Life. And Lia didn't want her years of sacrifice, tears, and hard work, trials and tribulations to go in vain. So she started even a coaching program, and we're going to learn more about that today. So there are so many things that we're going to get to learn from this beautiful vessel, Dr. Lia James Stone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So if you would, take us back, because to have this level of passion, it came from something specific, probably birthed out of your own pain. So can you talk to us about when there were times when you may not have felt like you were okay?
Back in, this is when I realized I was not okay. Back in 2017, I ended up, my dad passed of a massive heart attack. First person I've ever, I experienced death with, someone close to me. I'm a daddy's girl. I didn't even realize how much of a daddy's girl I was until he wasn't there. And after he passed, my life changed for the worst at that time, but I can see now where God was preparing me to be able to help others. I went through depression for 5 years, not even knowing probably the first 2 or 3 how depressed I was. Towards the end, I'm getting better. So I went through depression, kind of wanted to just give up. I was angry at God, if I could be honest. So prayer was not something I was doing. I didn't have anyone really reaching out to me. Uh, when you're going through a lot of times, we don't want to admit that we're going through depression. We don't want to admit that we're feeling down. We know when we're not ourselves. We know when something has changed. We know when we're acting a little different. You might not know to the extreme of it, but you
Right.
know that you're off. But no one was really reaching out. No one really came to the rescue at that time. So went to counseling, and I tell this story. I found myself counseling the counselor. She started telling me about her boyfriend and her daughter and the problems and the issues that she was having, and she's walking through Kroger supposed to be counseling me virtually.
Right.
What am I doing?
Right.
Lord, is
That's
this
funny.
it? So it was my first lady. Now end up I went to a conference of hers to talk about my business, because I have a child care center I've been doing for 16 years.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
so I went there to talk about my business, went to the conference, and I don't know if she just seen that I wasn't okay. What I learned is when you're dealing with depression and anxiety, when you're deep in that dark place,
Right.
you look gray. There's a grayness, there's a darkness. You don't have that brightness, you don't have that glow. And I don't know if she recognized that I no longer had that glow. But she started calling me at 5 a.m. every morning, and she would just pray. And one
Hmm.
day she said to me, okay, I need you to pray now. And I'm thinking, no, I'm good with you praying. Not, I was still angry. And when I say angry, I still trust God. I still love him, but I'm
Right.
mad. How could you take my dad from me? This was my thought process. Because
Okay.
again, I had never went through anything like that. And so when she asked me to pray, of course, me out of obedience, I'm just going to say a little bit just to get you off my back right now,
Right. Right.
right? I'm just going to say Jesus a little bit just to say I said something. I said Jesus and I started praying, and something broke. It no longer became words, but tears. And the tears of pain, the tears of hurt. I know for a fact, nobody can tell me that God does not know what my tears are saying. Because in that moment, he knew what those tears were saying. And it was something I needed. So I made up in my mind, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just get up every morning and I'm going to pray. Even if that meant sitting in a room, saying nothing,
Mm.
right? Just getting in his presence.
And this is
Not
in
saying
your
that I had to
house at
say,
this point.
this is
This
in my
this
house.
is it started with the counselor, who was way more than a counselor, because she encouraged and helped you get out of your dark spot, even though you didn't know that she was technically doing that by having you come pray and different things.
Oh, no, no, this has started with my first lady.
Oh, your first lady.
Yes,
Okay.
like
Okay.
my
I was
first
like,
lady
what? You said
now.
this
I
counselor?
wasn't, yeah, I wasn't going to the church at that time. So she's my first
Oh,
lady now, but I went to a conference that she was having.
okay.
And um, like I said, I think she just recognized that I wasn't, because I had known her before. This is the church I had went to where I first gave my life to Christ. Because so
Okay.
let me go a little bit further back. Growing up, I did not believe in God. I did not believe in Jesus. I was that child that gave my mom a hard time every Sunday. Don't put no dress on me. I don't want to go to church. I was that child, right? So this was the first church I had went to that I gave my life to Christ, but I ended up branching off, going to another church, went to this conference, and now we're back connected.
Okay. I get it.
Yes. So no, the counselor, I'm not going to say the counselor did not help. She did, because she was able to get me to recognize some other things that were going on. And what God had to reveal to me is I had been depressed all my life.
Mm.
All my life. I didn't realize it. Going through sexual abuse, the trauma of being raped at gunpoint, being in a abusive relationship at the age of 15, being a teenage mom by the age of 16. I had been depressed. I really had not lived. I was just existing.
Mm. And so, okay, so because we got to break, we're gonna have to break bite-sized piece this down because a lot of you all that are watching today, I want us to even get on the same page with what depression looks like. So, according to the mental health was National Institute of Health, that there are specific signs because a lot of times we don't know. It's a fine line between depression and just sadness or anxiety or being
Mhm.
concerned about something. But if you are experiencing some of the following signs and symptoms most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks, then according to the National Institute of Health.gov, then that's when it's a concern. Persistent, sad, anxious, or empty mood, feelings of hopelessness or pessimism. If you're always pessimistic about everything, nothing's positive in your life,
Right.
then pessimism is a sign of depression as well. Feelings of irritability, frustration, restlessness, feelings of guilt, worthlessness, or helplessness, loss of interest of pleasures that are your hobbies and activities, things you used to enjoy doing. You don't want anything to do with any of those things anymore.
Right.
And you're consistently finding yourself not wanting to do them. Fatigue, lack of energy, feeling slowed down. It's a long list of them. And what I'll do is I'll just put this link right in the comment section and you can go back and look. Thoughts of death or suicide or even suicide attempts, you got to get some help. So your first lady recognized that you were in a dark place,
Yes.
Dr. Wu, and
Yes.
she creatively massaged you into the fold. And
Yes.
that was through prayer. So what was the
Yes.
changing point for you? When did things break that you realized I need this? I need God in my life.
When she asked me to pray, and I knew I did not really have the words, honestly, the prayer was not genuine. I was doing it out of obedience to her asking me to pray. But God still met me in my dark place. He still met me in that place of hurt, pain, anger. Um, and I knew I need to pray. I need to pray, not have someone else praying for me because she had been doing that. I can't remember how long we were actually, getting up every morning at 5 a.m. before this happened, but she had been praying and not saying that nothing was happening. But it wasn't until that moment where I opened my mouth and started speaking that God came in and broke. And I knew I have to get up. I have to get in his presence. I have to get in his word. I have to get back to him. No matter how angry I am or disappointed I am at this moment, I still love him and he's showing that he still loves me.
Wow. And even in the midst of everything that you described, you said being held at gunpoint and raped. That's not just a quick brush over. That's an unbelievable circumstance to have to even overcome. How do you encourage women that have experienced some things that were forced on them to be able to still get their wits about them and move forward? Because I don't know how to encourage people to do that sometimes, other than just saying trust in God. But you've been through something like that. Can you speak about that?
You have to talk about it. It's not your fault. You're not to blame. I know I was told one time, well, if you weren't so developed at a young age, because I developed young, 9 years old, I had, the breast and everything. Well, if you weren't developed, maybe men wouldn't look at you. If you weren't this, it's not my fault. And I grew up thinking that. So you have to talk about it. You have to find someone that you can trust. I didn't tell anyone that I had been raped at gunpoint. I did what you see in the movies. I went home, took that bath, and cried, and never talked about it, and never thought about it again. Even being molested, I kept secrets. Now there was a time where I did tell my dad, and he did what he had to do, and I believe that's why when he died, he's my protector. What's going to happen now? Because if you don't talk about it, if you don't let someone know, if you don't get those feelings and those emotions and thoughts from here and from here, it's going to keep you bound your whole life. I went into my adulthood
Hmm.
carrying these wounds, this trauma, this hurt, this pain. It affected me as a mother. It affected me as a sister. It affected me as a daughter. It affected me as a wife because I held on to these things. So you have to talk about it. It's never too late to release it. It's never too late to let someone know about your pain, your struggles, your hurts. It's okay not to be okay.
And okay, because when you say when this happened, you just kept it to
I
yourself.
kept it.
And did you have to continue to be exposed to these people that were doing these harmful acts because you were keeping it as a secret without family being able to step in and intervene because now they know that this is happening so they can safeguard you? Or I'm trying to visualize how can this.
So, um, being raped at gunpoint, no, I did not. It was a friend of a friend. Never seen him again. There's so many different scenarios. There was a scenario with a neighbor. I'm late for school, walking to school. I grew up in New Jersey, so we didn't have school buses. We had to walk. And he said he'll give me a ride. I go in the house, and he said, "Okay, let me go put my shoes on." And I'm waiting. And he comes and he tries to rape me. I fought off, and I was able to get away. I told my dad about that situation. I saw him again, maybe, well, being a neighbor, you see him here and there, but not really having to be in his presence. There was another situation with my aunt's boyfriend who tried, and I told my aunt, and I told my cousin went to go do something, but my aunt lied for him. Years later, she apologized for that. So in some scenarios, yes, I still have to be around them. That it caused me to not trust people around. So I grew up having a hard time with trust, with letting people get close to me. So I kept a guard up. And so I believe my life would have been different if those things wouldn't have happened.
But and so thank you for sharing that, because I think that someone watching today, and you all speak on your own behalf, you're in the studio audience, feel free to put your own comments and your own thoughts pertaining to whether this information, when we're talking about balancing our lives and things we've had to overcome to become who we are today. That's what this whole show is predicated on. It's about how we balance this thing called life. And many times it's not such a pretty picture, because in situations like Dr. Lia, things are being forced on us that are beyond our control. But at the end of the day, because you're still living this thing called life, you have to figure out how to get to the other side of that mountain. And you are inspiring me to know that regardless of our circumstances or our situations, there's still hope. There's still light at the end of the tunnel. Is that what you ultimately felt yourself?
At the time?
Not, I don't know how you get. I'm trying to figure out how you get from all of those moments.
If I could be completely honest, it was not until after my dad passed and I had to go through the trauma, the depression, the heartache of losing him, that I realized I was holding on to the other pain. So my dad's death was the straw that broke the camel's back. That's when I felt like my life was completely over, because even though I did not tell my dad everything, I knew if I would have released everything to him, he was going to do something. That was my protector. That was my best friend. You know, I could tell him stuff and nobody else would know, not even my siblings.
Right.
He was just that type of person. So he was my friend. That was the one person I did trust. And so now he's gone. So what do I do now? Now I feel I went back to that little girl again. What's going to happen if somebody does try to do this or do that? I don't have anyone here to protect me. So it wasn't until then, after I started going through the counseling, after I realized, I had to admit that you have not been okay. You swept these things up under the rug. I buried them thinking it's going to go away. It doesn't go away. The way we respond to people, the way we talk to people, there are triggers. When I look back now, there were certain triggers that was always there, but I didn't know why I was responding the way I was responding. Why did I talk the way I talk? Why did I have this look on my face of a defense mechanism, right? So maybe if I look this way, no one would bother me because I'm looking mean. I'm not a mean person. Always been very caring and very loving. But the enemy came in to try to kill, steal, and destroy everything that God had for me, my purpose. But God didn't allow it to happen. Those things happened to me, but that's not who I am. So I had to change on the inside and realize, yes, it happened, but I can't continue to let the people that tried to destroy my life, or the spirit, it was the spirit behind the person. I can't allow that to stop me any longer from walking in the purpose that God has for me.
Yes, yes. And listen, everyone that's tuning in, and I see you, Ruth, and I see you, Naya. I see all of you all, Ira, all of you all that's tuning in, Shakita, Monica, all of you guys, Pamela, Dallas, Selena. I just like to acknowledge you all, Mother Deborah Perry, all of you all that are tuning in today. Thank you so much for being a part of the studio audience. Type your comments and maybe share some areas of your life where you haven't been okay, even if you're okay now. Maybe at some phase of your journey you weren't okay. How did you
Mm-hmm.
handle some of those situations? We love to pop those comments up on the screen as well. I know, and when I can talk personally, Dr. Leah, whenever my child passed away, I I was not okay. I was not
Mm-hmm.
okay at all. And there would be times when I would go and I would just go in the bathroom, close the door, and just get on the floor. And I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
when I would get up off the floor, the floor would be soaking wet. It wasn't because I had poured water on the floor, but I had watered the floor with my tears because of
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I was just like, I have to have a place that I could just release everything that I'm feeling. And there were times when I would be in a room filled with people. I mean, I'm talking about like thousands, it could be thousands of people. And I could feel like I was in that room just by myself. And it wasn't anything that I knew would make me feel that way in that
Mm-hmm.
particular given moment, but it was just be different triggers and things that would happen. And somebody else, like if I went to somebody's homegoing celebration of life, I would just be sitting there crying, like
Right.
uncontrollably. I'm like, what in the world? I'm not being an inspiration to this person, even by coming
Right.
to their loved one's celebration of life when I'm sitting here unraveling, like I'm
Right.
fucking unraveling. But it
Right.
wasn't that I didn't have faith or that I didn't, that I didn't believe God or anything. It's just that I was like, I'm jacked. my child, my 12-year-old child,
Right.
lived for 12 years, walked around taller than me, 5'10", and now he has to leave this earth. Why?
Right.
When I know you can work miracles, God. And I've
Yes.
prayed and miracles have happened for other people. So why would it be that my child can't live any longer? But I had to inspire other people to know that God still, he could have done whatever he chose to do because he's able, but for
Right.
whatever the reason, he knows best in these situations and circumstances.
Right.
And does that mean now that I don't believe in you because you didn't do this particular thing the way I wanted you to? No, that does not change anything about my faith pertaining to my Lord and my Savior at all.
Right. Right. And I actually went through that because as a minister, I prayed for people. I've seen him heal. I'm like you. So my dad, he passed at 11:30. And I remember at 11:30 that night, I thought I spoke to my dad 10 o'clock that morning. And 11:30 at night, I said, "Oh, I didn't call my dad back." And he died at 11:30. And I had same questions like you, like, Lord, you could have just put him in the hospital. Let me get there in time to pray for him. I had the same thoughts. I could have prayed for him. He could have been healed. Why didn't I know that he might have been dealing with this or dealing with that? So same question. And I believe that's normal.
To me,
But so,
that's normal.
a lot of times people, I say religious people, try to make you feel guilty for questioning God or having, some doubts or just
Right.
wondering why. So I'm like you, it doesn't mean that I don't trust him anymore. I don't believe him anymore. But why did you let this happen? When I've prayed for so many other people, I've seen you work miracles. So
Yeah.
what happened in this situation?
Yeah.
And
And that,
it's normal. We can't beat ourselves up. We can't allow people to tell us. He said, listen, our thoughts are not like his thoughts. Our ways are not like his ways. We
that's
don't
right.
know, honestly. We can't sit here and say, well, you can't question him. Why?
Yeah. I mean, if he's my dad, he's my
If he's
father,
my
I should be
dad.
able to ask him
Right.
anything I want, just like I would my own regular father.
Right.
Like, why you do that,
Right.
Dad? What made you
Right.
think like that? What made that happen? Why this? Why that outcome or whatever?
Right.
And I believe that, but I also believe that sometimes people will never necessarily read a Bible, but they should be able to see a Bible in us. And so
Right.
I personally believe that how I behave and conduct myself representing Christ is
Mhm.
important for other people to determine whether they're going to follow Christ as well. Because it's like, as you
Right.
follow, I'm going to follow based on your faith following. So I started going back to church and praising the Lord
Mhm.
and magnifying the Lord and just really trying to be present in
Mhm.
ministry because I wanted other people to know that God is able to do all things, and He's still the
Right.
author, finisher of my faith, and I will reunite with my son again. And
Right.
even though I wasn't okay, I felt like I had to make myself be okay. And
Yeah.
that's what I kind of want to hear. How do
Mhm.
you recommend that you encourage people to make themselves be okay, even when they really know in their inner heart that they're not okay?
You push yourself to do the things that you don't feel like doing. If you don't feel like praying, you pray. You don't feel like going to church, you go to church. You don't feel like going to the family gathering, you go. You don't feel like talking on the phone, you talk. And be transparent. Transparency, transparency. I walked around with a mask on my face for 5 years because I felt like I had to keep it all together as a minister. You can't let somebody know that you're going through because how am I going to let somebody know that I'm going through? But here I am ministering to them, praying for them. Where's your faith? And sometimes we can have so much faith for somebody else, but when it comes to us, it's like, I don't know, Lord, right?
Right.
Are you going to do it for me? I know you could do it for them. I mean, and you have to push yourself to do the things that the enemy is trying to keep you from doing. Because in the midst of that is going to come your healing. In the midst of you moving forward is going to come when those chains are going to break. Yokes are going to be destroyed. Burdens are going to be removed. But as long as you sit still and allow the enemy to continue to keep you in a stagnant place, then you're not going to reach your destiny.
That's good. So doing the things that you know that you really would just go in a room, close the
Right.
blinds, and isolate yourself from society.
Mhm.
Instead, open the blinds,
Yes.
call somebody, get on the phone and say, listen, I don't even need you to preach or do anything. I just need you to listen to me. I just need you
That's
to sit
it.
quietly on the phone with me. I need you to just be here for me right now because I am going through. I don't even know how to articulate what I'm dealing with or
Right.
what I'm going through, but I just need somebody. So asking for that help and just
Yes.
I love everything that you're
And
saying.
if you have to just sit on the phone and cry, do that. You know, it's okay. It's okay to cry. I had to learn that it's okay to cry. I would go, I would come to work when I did make it to work because there were times that I didn't make it to work. I would stay home and lay in the bed, and I'm laying in the bed, but I'm thinking about everything that's going wrong. So I would get up and come to work, and even though I might come in here for an hour or 2 hours, I can't. But if I had to come in my office and close the door and cry, I did. If I had to go in the bathroom and close the door and cry, I did. Then I wipe my tears and I come back out and finish doing what I had to do. It's press. I had to press my way,
That's
press
good.
to keep going. I could not lay there and die in that mess. Premature death was not going to come on me. I had to tell that death angel, you're going to go somewhere because I'm not going to die. There's purpose on my life. There's a calling on my life, and there's things that I need to do. My children needed me. My grandbaby. I have a 5 year old grandbaby. When he was born, I was like, okay, yeah, it's you gotta get moving. You can't allow the enemy to have his way anymore.
That's good. I'm so glad that you're taking this approach because I think too, it's a conscious decision that we
Right.
make when it comes to life and death, in my opinion. Because
Hmm.
at one point, I really had said, I even asked the doctor, can I, and I never would think that I know, I don't believe I would ever commit suicide or anything like that because I believe wholeheartedly that
Hmm.
my life is God's and I don't want to take my life. I want him to decide when I'm going to go home. But the night before my son had passed, we had a Bible study and it was about suicide. And I realized after he passed why some people would feel so hopeless and helpless. And it
Hmm.
gives me so much more compassion for those individuals because I know, even though I know all hope is never gone because of what I
Right.
believe, but not everybody believes that. So they think that's all, that was it. Life is not worth living anymore because raped at gunpoint or because
Yeah.
some of the things that are forced upon us in life. So yeah, this is pretty interesting
Yeah.
conversation. And you all, I can see some of you are joining in on it. I also see you, Lenitra. I see you, Sharon, Pastor Sharon. I know you have plenty that you can share with us as well, Lisa Riker, and all of you all that are tuning in. But let me make sure that I address some of these comments. Let's see, one of the comments that came in, Shalina Cooper. Shalina Cooper, you said that feeling is so real, being in a room full of people, but feeling so alone. Yeah. Has anybody else ever dealt with that? You're surrounded by people,
Yeah.
but because of what you're dealing with yourself personally, you feel like you're just on an island by yourself.
I
Yeah.
used to have a vision of that, and I didn't understand what it was, but it would be like a dream. It would be a dream where I was in a cage, locked in this cage, and it would be people around, but no one can hear the scream. No one saw me in this cage. And I'm like, and I had it more than one time. And I'm thinking, what is it? And I realized I was locked up in my mind. Everything, the trauma, the hurt, the pain, everything that I had gone through, I had kept it bottled up, and I'm screaming on the inside, not really releasing it to let others know what I had went through. And that's how the book was birthed. You have to
That's
get
how
it
the
out. You
book
have
was.
to. You have to release it.
That's good. And well, we're going to do this in a few minutes here. We're going to talk more with the author of It's Okay Not to Be Okay, 7 Keys to Happy Through the Storms of Life. And this is Dr. Lia James Stone is the author that we're talking with here today. She's in her daycare facility over there. And when we come back right after this commercial break, we're going to go into some points from the book, and let's just talk through what are some of the keys that you feel are keys to happy. And we'll be right back, everybody, right after this commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community.
All right, everyone. Make sure you check out ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. We do have some events that's happening, actually one that's happening this week. And every third Thursday, we get the opportunity to bring in a guest speaker. And we are at the Charlotte Museum of History, and we'd love to be able to have you be in attendance if you have the capacity to take on new clients as an entrepreneur. Make sure you go ahead and register, ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, Dr. Lia, let's talk about this. Well, somebody asked a question before. I don't want to get too far and we don't see these questions. Okay, Mackenzie actually said, Dr. Lia, let me ask you a question. Why is childcare so expensive, but pay is so little?
Oh. Why is childcare so
expensive?
Well, honestly, my daycare center, I am 100% subsidy. So I get paid through the state for childcare. I'm 100% subsidy. Childcare is expensive. I guess when you look at the overhead, you have to have the staff, you have to pay for the rent, you have to, if you're providing food, you have to pay for the food. Some daycare centers provide formula, like we do. Some daycare centers provide diapers. I think it just really depends on what all you're getting. But I can't say why. Now up north is a little bit, I don't know where you are, but up north, depending on your area where you are, it is a little bit more expensive. Can the prices be a little overrated? They can, but it just depends on what all you're getting.
Okay. So you might want to connect one off with her, and Mackenzie's in the Tennessee area, so she might call you and ask you some questions pertaining to that.
Okay.
Listen, everybody, make sure you also stay connected with Dr. Lia James Stone, and her contact information is here. And you can let them know, especially for the audio podcast listeners as well, how they can stay connected with you right quick. You can go to liajamesstone.life, and then you can also email her at info@liajamesstone.life. And on Instagram, she is I am Lia James Stone, and on Facebook, Lia James Stone. So make sure you all stay connected with her on all of those different social media platforms. Let's talk about your book. I pretty much think your story inspired you to write this book, but please tell us even more. What really made you want to write 7 Keys to Happy Through the Storms of Life?
So again, going through depression, going through having anxiety, not really knowing that I had anxiety, and then depression, and not having anyone there to kind of give me the strategies that I needed. Even when I went to counseling, there was never any strategies that were given. I had to kind of start researching and doing things on my own because I just knew I couldn't stay that way. I knew that I was not okay, but I knew I could not stay this way. This is not me. This is not how I want to continue to live my life. And so I didn't want anyone else to have to go through the journey by themselves. So I wrote the book to give you the strategies and the keys that I use to help break those chains.
That's good. And where can people get a copy of your book?
It is available on my website, liajamesstone.life, and is also available on Amazon.
Okay, so I'm a visual person, so I'm over here looking at some of the images on your website, and I absolutely love them. So let me pull up what I'm looking at over here, y'all. Okay, this is Dr. Lia James Stone's website, liajamesstone.life, and I just love this. Look at the joy that you have. Empower your mind, body, and spirit. And she's giving you ways to connect. So once you go to this website, this is what you're going to see. Transformative life coaching services that she offers, about the founder herself. And as you can see, she is free. I mean, you look free as a bird. A lot of times people are trying to hide, certain body parts and different things.
No.
Why this pose? Tell us why that pose.
Because I am free. That post, listen, I said, you know what? I'm free. I gave it all to God. I am free from every demonic force and every demonic spirit that ever tried to hold me back and keep me in bondage. I really am. I'm free. It's just a whole nother outlook on life. The small things don't even matter. When I think about all the hell I've been through, what the enemy tried to take from me, no, I'm free. I'm free. And I refuse to give him any more of my time, my years, my life. No.
I love it. Now, oh yeah, girl, you're about to make me stand up and do a whole side profile showing my whole, right? But I'm like, I'd be like putting that on a meme or something. So
yeah, when you realize that you've been through so much and how you could have died in the midst of the mess, and when God has truly set you free and give you a glimpse of everything that you have come through, yes.
You're gonna make me hit my head back here on this wall. I'm telling you, because there's some stuff, right? Before we keep talking, tell us about this young man over there in the right-hand picture, portraits of women doing it big. I see y'all over there in the back.
That is my husband of 13 years. We just had an anniversary on July 9th. We've been together for 18 years, been married for 13. And when I tell you, first of all, and I always tell him this, so there's no shade towards him. He was not what I wanted. It's funny, right? He had been married before. I'm the second wife. I didn't want anyone to have kids, and I didn't want anyone to have been married before. But God had other plans. And our marriage, when I say we have a good marriage. Like, the good outweighs the bad. I'm not saying it's perfect, but he's my best friend. He really is. I don't know if I would have made it this far if he had not been by my side. And he does. One time he kind of got mad at me. Well, I got mad at him because he did something. I said, stop doing that, because my dad used to do that. This was in my broken state, right? And he yelled back at me, I'm not trying to be like your dad. And I was like, where that come from?
Right.
But he reminds me of my dad. So he's still he's that protector that my dad was, right? Um just having my back and being honest with me. And he honestly told me one day, he said, as many times as you have prayed and cast the devil out and told the devil go back to hell, he said, right now you just sit here and let him beat you all upside your head. And at first I didn't receive it. And I was just like, you don't even know what you're talking about. But then
Right.
I started thinking about that thing, like, you really are just letting him win right now.
Mm.
I gave him the victory at one time. I had to get back up and put my gloves on and start fighting back.
Good. That's good. So you decided to fight back, and this book
Yes.
is one of the weapons that you've used to kick the enemy in the head. And
Yes.
and so out of the 7 keys, because in order for you all to really know the 7 steps, you definitely want to get a copy of the book, and you can get it right at liajamestone.life. So go grab your copy right away after the show. Y'all don't go right. Okay. So go grab your copy right at 12:05, right? And make sure that you get a copy. Will you autograph it as well and send it to them?
I will.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Very good.
So yeah, if you want an autographed copy, you will order on my website. If you order from Amazon, it won't be autographed because it comes straight from there. Yes.
So out of the 7 keys, which 1 or 2 would you like to share with us today here on the Kim Jacobs Show?
So you have to speak back to yourself. When those negative thoughts come, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling like you can't make it, you have to open up your mouth and you have to speak positive affirmations. And just you have to declare your day. You have control over your day. The enemy does not have control over your day. Guess what? When you get up, the minute your feet hit the floor, the enemy is mad. What is she going to do today? What is he going to do today? And you have to show him exactly who you are. I am somebody. I am strong. I am powerful. I'm anointed. I'm an overcomer. I am not a victim, but I have the victory. I don't want to push God on anybody, but Jesus is the way for me. Speaking his word every day, getting in his word, getting into prayer, fasting, so God can really speak. You have to put that flesh under submission and it's fasting so God can really speak to your spirit. Yes. And lead and guide you and allow him to order your steps.
Yes. That's good. So declaring your day.
Declaring your day.
Put that in the comment section. Declare your day. I will declare my day. And what does declaring your day look like to you? Because each of us, it looks different. So for me, when I declare my day, I say, Lord, you know what? It's some things that I've put on my to-do list, my must-do list, or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I submit my will to your will. So whatever your will is for my life, Lord, is what I want to happen. That's all I really want to manifest. I don't care about anything else that I so-called have on my agenda. Guess what? My agenda is your agenda. So Lord, keep your will for my life. And if that can't be a part of my planning process, then I don't even want it to happen. I don't want it to happen. I only want God's will to be done. Period.
Right.
And let me say this too now, because coming into this whole world of I was married, 28 years, 34 together, and all of this, and actually I think God just truly blessed me, Dr. Lia, because I thought I had a wonderful marriage. So I was like, yay! I thought it was lovely for the most part. Not perfect, but lovely. So I don't even have a sad story to share with people right now. A lot of times when people go through divorce, it's like, everybody's beating each other up and saying all that and all of this. I didn't have that because I didn't even know how. I guess I was just on a horror film because a bad Lifetime movie because I had no idea that it was like this was the deal, So, anyway, but it wasn't okay. It's not okay that I was in this situation and I wasn't okay with that,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you have to be able to declare that God, you are in control of my destiny. You make all things good and all things right in my life. So whatever it is that you saw that maybe I could have never even imagined, you were protecting me and keeping me from something, danger seen and unseen. And once stuff starts to unfold, you be like, oh, ho, ho, let's
Yeah.
give God a praise right on that note, because you protected me.
Right.
Unbeknownst to
Right.
me. But it was a
And you don't
blessing.
know until something like later on, it's like, oh, okay, that's why that happened. Or that's why I went through this. That's why God allowed for that door to close or, and this door to open. But yeah, it's just that, I say, God, don't let anything happen today that you and I together can't handle.
That's right.
I thank you for patience. I thank you for peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Before when things used to happen, I'd be all over the place, all emotional. You could tell because the attitude then changed.
Right.
And I'm like, Lord, it's a wonderful thing. I'm
It
not
is.
gonna say I would go through it again. You've heard people say I would go through it all. I don't know if I would go through it all over again, but I thank God for where I am. I thank Him for the strength that He's given me to overcome. Not even knowing that I was strong enough to even overcome it. I didn't think I was gonna get out of it, to be honest. And even with seeing the counselor and being on medication, they tell you that once you get on, you can't get off the medication. I'm not on medication. I am not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not on no medication for any stuff like
Yeah.
that, because it's like,
I mean,
what, Lord,
I
you
did
can
the
be my medicine.
medication.
I need you to keep my mind stayed on you.
Mhm.
If I can keep my mind stayed on Christ, then I believe that together we can do this thing. And then don't get me
Now I
wrong.
did the medication. Don't get me wrong. I did. I did the medication because I needed it at one point.
Yeah,
Even the doctor told me he didn't. It was another doctor. He didn't understand how I was even functioning because I was on so much medication enough to knock a cow out.
wow.
And so I've been medicated,
Yeah,
but to see where I am today and to not be on medication and to still be in my right mind, because even with taking the medication, I said, Father God, don't let the side effects of this medication affect me. I
and
want no side effects. Let the medication do what it is that it's supposed to do. Um, but I thank you that I'm healed, delivered, and set free.
yes,
And there are
yes.
no side effects from it. And I am truly free.
To God be the glory. And let me make sure I clarify too, because we have a whole statement over here that the views expressed are not that of always that of the show, but it's of us individually. So we're just telling you our personal experience. But as far as medication, whatever a doctor is prescribing for you, you
Right.
and your doctor comply with each other, and
Yes,
you
yes.
do
Yeah,
whatever
let them
you
wean
do.
you off because you have to get weaned off. Don't
Right. So
don't stop cold turkey. You have to get weaned off. There's a certain, process that you have to go through. So you definitely want to follow your doctor's
yes,
orders. And pray about it. God will let you know when you're ready,
that's
and he can do it. He can do
yes.
it.
Yes, he can. So I just wanted to say that, because then people, when I'm the host of the show, people be like, Kim said I'm
Yeah.
saying that. That is not what I'm saying.
No.
And you do what you and your doctor tell you to do. I'm just telling you on my end that I haven't had to have. I'm not on medication for that, because of the fact that I don't need it. I don't need it, but I probably
Right.
have needed it and just didn't comply and get it, because I had some family and friends that were surrounding me. They were my medication. Let me say it that way. Between God,
Okay.
friends, and my mama, they became my children became my medication. All right,
Yeah.
so that's some good advice. Declaring your day. Any other thing and I saw somebody else say, "Hey, Queen." So let me make sure I acknowledge your comments. I see you, La Audrey. Good morning, Queen. Good morning to you as well, and
Good
amen to the.
morning. Good morning.
If you all have questions or comments or any thoughts that you'd like addressed by our guest, Dr. Lia James, who's been through this personally with not being okay, and now she is totally okay, free as a bird, y'all, laid back on her website, enjoying life. Then ask your questions now. I had a gentleman, Ed is what I think that's his name. Ed on Facebook put in a question about him not being okay with the lack of affordable housing. Any thoughts pertaining to that? Because I put a question out there early on, and some people chimed in on that. So that's stressing him
About
out.
You said about not having affordable housing.
Right, because he's like that's what's made him not be okay, is the fact that there's a lack of affordable housing.
Right. So we do have to come together. My personal opinion is rent is ridiculous. I I totally agree. Even though I'm in a place of where God has blessed me to be able to live where I live, When I look at the rent sometimes, it's more than my mortgage. And so, but we can't stop. So the thing is, get in the presence of God and ask him what is it that you can do, because just because you might be on social security or disability, I believe that there's a vision for us all. There's a purpose for us all. What is the vision and the purpose that God has for you? There's an entrepreneur in all of us. What is it that you can start, that you may be able to do to get that in extra income, to where you can be able to afford to live comfortably?
That's good. Good. Well, we just came from the Power Networking Conference with Dr. George Frazier, and there were
Yeah.
so many different ideas, things
Right.
that they stood from the stage and shared ideas that they would not necessarily start because they're working in a different vein, but they shared those entrepreneurial ideas so that people in the audience can glean from it and apply it and
Right.
implement it, so that next year when we come back to the conference, we can say, oh, that idea y'all shared, I became a
I
millionaire.
did that. Right. I mean, even if connect with me, go to the info. You can email me info@liajamestone.life, and I can even maybe work with you on doing an ebook. I'm sure there's some type of experience that you went through. Do an ebook, put that thing on Amazon, sell it. That's extra income. What are you good at? What have you been through that might be able to bring some extra income in for you? Because unfortunately, it's nothing that we can really do right now to say that the rent is going to change, right? So what can I do? What extra income can I bring in? What can I do for my family? What can my children do? What can we come together and do? What type of um, business, family business can we start? If it's selling dinners, we can't just sit back and complain about it, but we have to do something about it. Again, it's that moving, getting from that place of being stuck and allowing the enemy to continue to just show us what it is that's wrong. What can I do to make this right?
And I believe, actually, Dr. Lia, by everything that you just shared, that will also have you feeling okay, because now you have some solutions to your own problems, your own issues in life. And if you
Right.
all just simply email info@liajamestone.life, info@liajamestone.life. She's already sharing with you that she'd be willing to brainstorm with you on some ideas. And she didn't say a cost associated with that, just some ideas that can possibly help you be able to get to the other side of some of the issues that you're dealing with that's making you feel bogged down, not okay, feet in cement, stress,
Right.
agitation, irritation, anxiety, all of these things.
Right.
Email info@liajamestone.life and see what ideas she can help you with. I love that. Any other words of encouragement, advice? This time goes so quickly, but we have
I
a
know,
good
I can't believe it's been
conversation,
an
right?
hour already. So I just want to encourage everybody, don't give up. I don't care the tests, the trials, the tribulations, the battles that you are going through. Do not give up. Continue to put your trust in God. Continue to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. We don't understand why we go through the things that we go through. But God said in Jeremiah 29:11 that he already knew the plans and the thoughts that he had for you, and they were good and not evil. And they were plans of hope and joy, plans for you to have a good life. And that's what he wants us to have, a good life. We're supposed to live in the best, drive the best. We're supposed to, have.
Yes.
We're supposed to. But a lot of times we get stuck. So don't get stuck. Don't allow the enemy to continue to show you his vision for your life. But look at the plans and the thoughts and the vision that God has for your life.
Yes, y'all. And I love you did Proverbs 3:5-6. That's my favorite scripture as far as Lord with all your heart, lean not into your own understanding, but in all of your ways. Acknowledge him, and guess what? He will direct your path.
He will.
And when we trust in something, we can like do like you did, a trust fall. You did a trust fall and lean back in the arms of the Lord, because you know that he's got your back.
Yes.
He's got your back,
Yes.
The palm of his hand is nestled right in
right there,
the arch of your back, and you can just trust fall in him. My God.
Yeah.
Woo! Okay, listen, everybody. If you have not supported the Kim Jacobs Show as a partner with us, I'm encouraging you to do so today. A lot of times people reach out to me and say, hey, how can we pour into your broadcast? How can we support the program? And speaking of which, Ms. Ruth Hicks, thank you so much for literally pouring into the Kim Jacobs Show. I greatly appreciate it, and our whole team appreciates you for doing that. And everyone that wants to do it, you can do it through $. Cash App is Kimjacobsinc. Some people have PayPal, so it can go to paypal.me/KimJacobsInc, or you can also use Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show. And some people like to join our membership program, which is patreon.com/The Kim Jacobs Show. And I share that because I do more behind the scenes things that I don't put on social media with everyone else, and you get a chance to be a part of that membership program. And one other membership program that I have is motherdreamer.com/join. And there are a community of mothers who have goals and dreams, and we are working together collectively to help those become a reality. So motherdreamer.com/join, and that'll invite you into that private community. I am so honored to have each of you all tune in today. And without you, we don't get a chance to bring balance to the world one household at a time. So thank you so much. And somebody said, God's goodness, God's goodness. Can you read that? Let me put my glasses on.
Oh, that's my aunt.
Your
Hey,
auntie is on here, and she like, girl, she said, Kim, I'm tell you right now, you better not click off that show before you recognize my comments. So glad to have you here, Aunt Ann Bryant Alexander.
Yeah,
And you see the lovely job that your niece did. Oh, you're an inspiration. You're an inspiration, Lia. Dr. Lia. You're an inspiration. Okay, so what's next for you? Tell us what's next.
I don't know. I don't know. My passion is just to help people. That's it. I just want to see people set free. I'm so tired of seeing us just in bondage, and that's my purpose. That's it.
We could be twins, Dr. Lia, because I really want women and people to know that we can get beyond our circumstances, and we can get to the other side of greatness and our destiny, what God has for us. He already knows these seasons that we're going to go through. He already knows. He put more on us than we can bear.
Right.
So if we can get that in our mind, we can function a little bit better, and we can be okay.
Yeah. That's why I say it's a surprise to us. It's never a surprise to him.
That's right.
It's a surprise to us, but it's never. He knows already. And if we really just trust him, with tears flowing down your face, I'm still going to keep moving. That's right. Crying and all, not knowing what direction I'm supposed to go, right? He said, go to the light. Once I get to the light, okay, Lord, I'm here. You want me to go left or right? And just really allowing him to order your steps. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I promise you, if you let him fight your battles, if you let him just lead and guide you, you will see the rainbow.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I saw another comment. Oh man, some more comments keep coming in. Let's see. I'm trying to get one more in here. Okay. Oh, Aunt Ann, your auntie, she said, thank you, Kim. God bless you and continued success with your show. Thank you so much, Aunt Ann. I know hopefully you'll tune in another day too, outside of just when your niece is on here. In the studio audience, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. I also see your comment, Shalina. Thank you for blessing us, Dr. Lia James Stone. Anybody else that want to pop in a thank you or, oh, hey, Dennis, I see you, Dennis. You're saying be one love. I see you. I see you. So glad all of you all have tuned in today, and you've made the experience even better by being in the studio audience. I love each and every one of you, and it's my honor to serve in this capacity. Dr. Lia, you have been an amazing guest, and you're welcome to come back.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you.
All right. So y'all stay connected with Dr. Lia James Stone. Just simply email her at info@liajamestone.life. She's taking away all excuses. Email her and see what gift and talent you can put to use immediately in your own life to help you get to the other side of your mountain.
Yes.
All right. And then get a copy of this book. And the book is available For autograph, you can get it from her directly, The 7 Keys to Happy Through the Storms of Life, by going to liajanestone.life, or you can go to Amazon and get it as well.
Oh,
All right.
and we didn't put it. Do I have time real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
There is a journal that there's a journal that's on my website as well that goes with the book. So as you go through the chapters in
Hold it
the
back up
book,
again
there's
and put you over
sections
here.
in the journal.
Hold it back up again. Let me put you over there. Yeah, 7 Keys to Happy Through the Storms of Life. You get the journal, you get a journal, and you can also get the book. Oh my gosh, my mom's gonna lose it because she loves journaling. So she brings all these notebooks.
Yeah, it's a nice thick journal, so you're gonna have some time to write down all those things. Get that junk up out of your mind. You got to free your mind so you can go ahead and put the positive in there, release the negative. So let's start, filling up with the positive.
Yeah. Okay. You gotta. I'm a Delta, a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and one of the things that we'll say sometimes is about excuses, and we do this whole thing. It's like excuses are monuments of nothingness. Those that make excuses seldom amount to anything in life, but what? An excuse. So let's get rid of the excuses and let's get some results with Dr. Lia James Stone.
Yes.
She's committed to helping you get to the other side. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, y'all. That's it. We've gone over. I've enjoyed my time with you. Thank you for being here today. And on that note, everybody, we'll see you tomorrow at 11
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you and love you all. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you.